Yo, what's up, gooners, guys, girls? Thanks, everybody. Last night we had a party in celebration. Yeah, I was on the rum, and I think I was the only one drinking. So you guys kind of let me down. Yeah, you owe me a drink. Yeah, celebration last night. Club captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang became reportedly the highest paid player in the league, pending a new deal at Arsenal. Now, it's speculation that the deal was around 18.5 million. Remember, I stated that Ozil's on 18 million. That would mean that Aubameyang is somewhere around 355,000 a week, pending his incentives. So that's a really good contract. It makes him hungry because the base of the contract is around 275, and he has all these amazing incentives to go and qualify for the Champions League and hit that goal tally and all of that stuff. And I think that that's exactly what the player wants. Guys, we are paying him his worth. Yeah. And it's not just that, but we've gone out and got Willian, we've gone out and got Gabriel, and we're in the process of closing the Aura deal. We're in the process of closing that. Thomas Partey, I've not heard anything about Partey at all, which it doesn't worry me because, as I said, there's still over 2 weeks left. And I'll tell you why I'm not worried, because there's one word that this club has right now. And we can talk about ambition, yeah? We know that this club is ambitious at the moment because the people in charge want to win. Josh wants to win. Vinay wants to win. Edu wants to win. Arteta wants to win. So let's not use the word ambition right now. Let's go for another word. So the word of today, ladies and gentlemen, is conviction. These people have a charge. They have a goal to achieve. And the conviction to get everything done speaks volumes. And the excellence that they've shown in order to get these things sorted out first. Remember, guys, there's one thing about running out there, going spending money, but it's also important, and way important, to keep hold and tie down your captain, yeah? This guy has a second goals per game average behind Thierry Henry. As you guys know, we were looking at the list last night and going through the top 10 strikers for Arsenal of all time. Great to see Theo Walcott's name up there, and we had a good discussion about him. But it was really good comparing him to Wrighty and Van Persie and Sanchez and all the other players on the list, and Bergkamp. And I think he can surpass Ian Wright's record, but I can't see him touching Thierry Henry. For me, he kind of started the ball too late. And to a point, so did Henry, but at least Henry came here at an age where he was able to flash that ability for a good amount of time. Penning a 3-year deal at Arsenal means that Aubameyang would also be here for 5 years, but I just don't see him getting on. Henry was on a different level. And look, Aubameyang scored 29 goals last season, yeah? But when you look at Van Persie, 39 goals, Henry, 39, 40 goals. I mean, these guys were just on another level. And I'm not saying that Aubameyang isn't. It's just a comment from Bertram last night about Adebayor, his all-round game. Adebayor was a more talented player than Aubameyang was. And not only the figures show that, I mean, Aubameyang is, 30 goals, 31 goals a season in his short Arsenal career, by the way. And just let that hit home to you, yeah? Adebayor was still banging in the goals, and he could do it anywhere across the pitch. He was lethal in the box. You put a cross in and he got his head to it. He was good everywhere. He had all-round game. He had that hold-up play. People talk about Lacazette and Giroud. He had that hold-up play as well. He could shield off defense. Those are things that Aubameyang can't do. But what Aubameyang can do is put the ball in the back of the net. And he's brilliant at it. And I think the fact that we've held on to a captain, we've broken the curse, and we've managed to slay that dragon, it's made us look like we have the conviction to move forward and achieve. And that speaks volumes. And speaking of volumes, guys, Oscar's a player, when he was in the Premiership for Chelsea, who averaged a goal every 4 games. He's been in China, Shanghai for the last few years, and he's tied down to that contract. And listen, he has played 132 games and had 73 assists and 43 goals. I mean, those numbers are absolutely bonkers. But he's tied down to that contract, and news is that Luiz and Willian has both been on to him about joining Arsenal, and he's just like, guys, I'd love to, but I have a contract and I can't get out of contract. And I think his agent has spoken to them as well, and they won't let him go. They love what he's doing. Anybody with that kind of goal return over there, they're not going to let him go for cheap. So he's going to have to ride out his contract, and I think he knows that. He doesn't sound too happy about it as well. But listen, you made your bed, you got to lie in it. It's just the thing with Arsenal and the Ozil situation. They made their bed, Arsenal have to lie in it, yeah? And it's just one of those things. But it's really good to see that the communication is open with Oscar, and he'd be an asset. He would definitely be an asset. The only thing from me, though, guys, is they're a little bit aged. And not aged, I mean, he's just turned 29. He was 29 on the 9th of September, so he's 28. He's in his prime, yeah? So when you get players in their prime, that's when you want them, because they're at their best and they're able to perform at the level that they've been trying to achieve for their whole career. And that's great. Aaron Ramsey, no one's talking about him at the moment. They're talking about Gareth Bale going back to Spurs, and that might be finalised. If you're targeting Ower and you've made these steps towards finalising personal deals and you're trying to bag an overall contract, you now have the money to do it. With Torreira on the way to Torino, you've got money now with him and Martinez to bag the deal done, to get the deal done. So either way, something's going to happen. But Oura's not as difficult as people think it is, because as we've alluded to many times before, that's going to be paid over 3 years. So, you know, that Ozil money that we're coughing up right now, that's going to be able to pay for him in the future. It's 18 million a year. That's how much it's costing us to keep Ozil. Ozil won't be here next season. So that 18 million can go as a down payment in year 2 for Oura. So it's not as difficult as people make it out to be. Arsenal can pull the trigger on the deal. The Party one is a little bit more complex, and I don't know really how they're going to get around that. But it's really good to hear Martinez talk to the Arsenal fans and give his love and say his goodbyes. And for me, guys, you all know how I feel about him. For me, he's a top 5 goalkeeper in the Premier League. He's as good as the best goalkeepers. He's as good as in fact, last season, I would go as on point to say that towards the latter part of the season, he was the best goalie in the league. And it wasn't even close. The man was operating to perfection, confidence, playing the ball at the back. He was just a mountain of a figure between the posts. And I just wish that Arsenal, and looking at this Icelandic goalkeeper now, would be able to push Bernd Leno to the place that we can have as an excellent goalkeeper. You know, we need to have the excellence between the posts in order for us to achieve. And I don't think that we have that in the team right now. So I'm really hoping that this guy can come in and push Leno. But not just that, I hope that Martinez has set a level that Leno has to adhere to. And that's the challenge for Bernd Leno this season. And we all need to get behind him to make sure that he has the best chance possible of showing us that he can step up his game. The other thing, guys, Sheffield United and Balogun, you know, they came in with some dibby figure of 3-5 million. Arsenal have actually said it's 15 million. Yeah, and we know Arsenal ain't good at resale value. They just don't. They're not bagging any profits from hardly any players. So when you got an academy player like this and you get 50 million, it's good business. Look, the man don't want to sign a contract to Arsenal. No point everybody crying about him not wanting to stay and him wanting to leave. It's done. He ain't gonna. And we got George Lewis. George Lewis looks. He doesn't play as an out-and-out striker, although he's kind of a false 9. He's kind of that Theo Walcott type of player, that kind of Pepe player who can play on the flank and cut in. And look, Aubameyang's been making a good living doing that lately, playing out on the wide and cutting in as a false 9. And I think that if you can get someone as productive as that, then why not? But you can't force a guy to stay here. Beyond his means, you can't do it. So if Balogun wants to go and we can get 15 million, Sheffield, pay up the money. Come with the money. Pay the ting. Yeah? Pay up the money. And that's all I'm going to sort of really say on that one. Really looking for some ins and outs at the moment now. Klasnach now barking about how much he wants to stay. You can bark as much as you want, bro. We don't want you. Yeah? And it's not in a bad way. It's just that you don't kind of fit where this team is at the moment. We've got a plethora of players at centre-back. You're not needed in the midfield. We're overloaded at that wing-back position. We've got so much talent there. We've got guys like Saka who ain't even getting a game at the moment. Yeah? Pepe's not even getting a game at the moment. Reece Nelson's not getting a game at the moment. Where is Smith Rowe going to fit into all of this? So we don't need a man like Klasnach, yeah? So brother, for the sake of the team, please don't run down your contract. Go and fight. Go back to Schalke. Go back to a team that wants you and needs you, and somewhere that you can play every game, because your minutes at Arsenal are going to be dwindling badly, bro. But he started at left centre back over the weekend, so that would normally be where you would be, bro. So I don't really see anything happening for you there. Mustafi's going to be sort of back and up and running in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I don't think it's going to be enough time for him to meet the transfer window. But, I mean, it's always good for depth. Same Pablo Mari is already on his way back. Another week to wait for him. But it's just about depth right now. We know where we're going at the moment, and we want to see William Saliba as a part of that back three. And then it's really, what do you do with everything else? And guys, I really want to know where you feel about El Nene at the moment. El Nene is just a man that's playing like he's possessed. And he's always been adapted to that position. But it really does make me think the reason why Ower is our #1 target is because the party deal, they can take it or leave it. Yeah? They can plug in a man there and then have him do a job. And guys, remember, he's got the full package. El Nene, for me, is a better player than Xhaka. And he can give you a lot more. Arsenal, at some point, have to kind of work with what they've got. Yeah? And I tell you guys all the time, don't expect to do everything in 1 year. It can't be done. Rome weren't built in a day. This thing is a plan. Yeah, they have a plan. And when Ozil's gone and Mustafi's gone next year, when all those contracts finish, and they'll be in a position and a place where they'll be able to free up a ton of cash that was sucking up the players' wages, and it will allow them more flexibility to go out there in the market and buy players. And we have to only hope that the fans will be back next season as well, which would cover up all of this concern that we have about the long-term process of COVID and the effects it has on the transfer market. But guys, listen, that's all from me for today. Thanks everybody. Celebration now. We're in the after party phase of Aubameyang, and I'd love to see him get on the score sheet this weekend, man. I really would. But guys, that's all from me, man. Peace out. Right back at you, and back your team.